Bernalillo County leaders are looking for a way out of a risky investment strategy by the Treasurer's office, which could end up costing taxpayers millions.
Now, the treasurer insists he does have an exit strategy, but financial experts say his plan is yet another gamble.
Step bonds is the way of the future. Exit strategy started over a year ago, and that was to shorten up not only the investments, but to get into step bonds. And you probably are not going to be familiar with step bonds, but step bonds are bonds that you buy that start at a low rate and increase as they step.
The problem and the devil in the detail is that they always usually come with call features, which means that after a set period of time, that issuer, the place that sold you the bond, can pull it back before that interest rate goes back up.
The county treasurer doesn't have the decision-making authority about when those bonds are called.
All right, a KRQE News 13 review of 47 bond trades between July of 2012 and late October of this year shows all but one gave up that authority, and the vast majority were bonds that tied up county cash for 10 years or more, gambling that the bonds would be called in time to go ahead and free up the cash. The treasurer has already lost one $750,000 bet, and experts say if the county needed the cash today, the losses could jump to $20 million or more. 5:02, we now know the man Albuquerque police shot and killed Sunday night has a history of violence and clashes with police. In 2009, Andy Snyder kicked an officer. Last March, he jumped into the middle of a rodeo clown performance in Berlin. When told no, police say he pulled a knife and then had to get tased. In June, he stole a truck and led APD officers on a chase. They later found stolen knives in that truck. Then last Sunday came a call about a hammer attack near University and Central. Police tracked down Snyder. They say he charged at them. One officer beanbagged him, but cops say Snyder kept coming, and another officer responded by opening fire. Police say Snyder had a weapon, but they have not said if it was a hammer or something else.
A former sheriff's deputy accused of forgery lost her job with Bernalillo County, but she still has a chance to keep her state certification after apologizing to the Law Enforcement Academy Board yesterday.
I apologize for my actions. It is definitely not a good representation of the type of person or the type of police officer that I've been.
You see, back in May, former deputy Jamie Fassler attended a buried bodies course outside of San Antonio, Texas, but she missed one day of training, making her ineligible for the certificate. Here she is a few months ago, not wanting to answer questions about forging that certificate of completion for the taxpayer-funded training course she did not complete. Yesterday, Fassler told the board she was sick, and after owning up to making a bad decision, she was ready to accept a 6-month suspension of her certification. But the board felt that was too long, instead recommended a 4-month suspension. 2 men will soon be transported to Texas after they were arrested right here in New Mexico last night. Officials with the Eddy County Sheriff's Department say they busted the two in connection with the murder of a 24-year-old woman out of Texas. A hunter found Ana Villegas' body last month near Loving. Deputies say her estranged husband, Juan Villegas, and his friend, Carlos Nájera, abducted her, killed her, and then dumped her body. Well, this is pretty low. Someone rips off an Albuquerque fire station, all while the crew is off doing a good deed. The thief or thieves broke into Fire Station 7 on West Central near Old Coors last Thursday. Firefighters at the time were manning the phones at the Toys for Tots phone bank.
It's very rare for someone to break into a fire station, and it's very concerning to us. If they'd break into a fire station, they'd virtually break into anything.
Cash, wallets, and the coffee can fund that firefighters used to buy groceries were all taken. And it wasn't until the next morning that one of the firefighters actually realized his new pickup truck had been stolen too. The chief says no AFD property was taken, though.
Some questions this morning about UNM's new reward system. It determines who gets the best seats and parking to all Lobo games. The school says it's about rewarding loyal fans, but it seems to be rewarding the biggest spenders instead. The demand for things such as conference and NCAA tournament tickets is going up, but the supply is not. And that puts UNM in quite a tricky position.
We needed a fair and equitable way to determine who makes the cut and who doesn't.
Now, that used to be based only on how much a fan gave the university. Well, this year, the new loyalty program gives donors and season ticket holders points. For instance, donating $1,000 to the scholarship fund is worth as much as having a basketball season ticket for 20 years. But Mr. De Leon says those people who don't give a lot of money are getting more than they had before. All right, 5:06 now. A new Christmas tradition up in Santa Fe is being grounded this morning.
Flying farolitos, or floating luminarias as they're called, may be a beautiful sight, but they make the Santa Fe Fire Marshal Reynaldo Gonzalez a bit nervous. You see, Gonzalez says under a new fire policy, the flying farolitos or any type of open air balloon aren't addressed. He also says there are too many weather factors that could spell trouble.
Unfortunately, they cannot meet the safety requirements that we require when we issue a burn permit.
And the man behind the tradition, who is from Germany, says that a few have gotten caught in trees, but otherwise they always burn up in flight. Last Christmas Eve, the farolitos were grounded because of extreme drought conditions.
And that's what we're in. The drought
Yeah.
is really, really bad. You get a little bit of snow, it helps a little bit, but you know what last fire season was like, and you can look forward to what this next one's going to be like. It may not
That
be
is
pretty.
so true.